hear my Switch in the background trying to keep up, to which I say, no, I am not buying the OLED model Nintendo. You know, if I would have known that within a week or two of making that video that my launch day Switch's knees were gonna buckle, and I would have ended up with a Switch OLED after all, I wouldn't have said shit. But here I am, eligible for poorly aged things on Twitter. But I digress, because it's a new year, and we got new content to make, and what better way to start than by talking about old video games I love. Yeah! I was recently gifted the Ninja Gaiden Master Collection on PS4, which I've been playing on my PS5, because, you know, I actually have one. And since I've been in quarantine with nothing to do, I decided to entertain myself via torture. Because anybody that knows Ninja Gaiden knows that this boy right here was the poster child for controller-breakingly levels of difficult but satisfying games until these guys right here ruined that reputation and let these guys take the crown. The collection contains Ninja Gaiden Sigma, Sigma 2, and Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge. 2 games I'm familiar with and 1 game that I'm not, because I didn't want to, you know, relive the experience of Ninja Gaiden 3 for a very long time. But I went ahead and beat these games anyway so that you don't have to. Not that you could, you fucking pussy. I'm gonna go ahead and break down each of these games one by one and see how they stack up in my opinion. So without further ado, here is my review for part 1 of the Master Collection, Ninja Gaiden Sigma, played on my PS5.
The Dragon Sword.
Yes.
Ninja Gaiden Sigma puts you in the shoes of Ryu Hayabusa, a master ninja and protector of the Dragon Sword who sets out on a revenge/retrieval quest after a walking set of armor known as Doku, Lord of the Greater Fiends, attacks his village and steals the Dark Dragon Sword, an ancient evil sword of unimaginable power. He travels to their homeland of the Vigor Empire to accomplish his mission, occasionally aided by the Kunoichi Ayane and fiend hunter Rachel. It's a pretty straightforward story, and it's fine that way by me because this game knows what it's about. The tale told is only used as a vehicle to serve up an excuse to enjoy what these games are really known for. And Rachel's sections are more of a filler arc that only serve her end of the story, which Ryu has no real obligation to care about, but they both reach the end of their respective journeys via the same method: battle.
Yes.
Ninja Gaiden's iconic reputation in all of its incarnations comes from its buttery smooth combat that's both often frustratingly challenging at times, yet immensely satisfying when you succeed at said challenge. It has your standard action game setup where you mix light and heavy attacks for combos, sprinkled with some projectiles here, a little ninja magic there, you know the deal. The game offers you numerous options in expanding your arsenal with all kinds of weapons and such that really just let you play the game the way you want to. You can upgrade items occasionally, expanding upon combat in ways that really show this game's chops, and that becomes important as you find your own flow to deal with the hordes of enemies, because oftentimes you will get jumped. This ain't no early Assassin's Creed game with enemies literally waiting in a circle to take a swing, or even a Devil May Cry game where enemies only take action if they're in the camera's view. No. These guys will fucking destroy you, 100%. Certain things in the game, like the camera, aiming ranged weapons, climbing along ledges, random stopping for loading in some areas, and even swimming, have kinda aged like milk, but some of that is minor compared to the complete satisfaction that is succeeding in combat and pulling off flippy-dippy ninja bullshit in fights and occasionally platforming. To be frank though, part of the frustration from the challenging nature of the game also comes in its checkpoint system. That is to say, there is none. If you die, you're forced to restart at the last save point. Very classic, but this game makes this feel excruciating when save points come far and few between. The worst offender is the last stage, where you haven't had a chance to buy items since well before the last boss of the previous chapter, and the only save point is at the beginning of the stage, and you have to do this really tedious, fake tension-filled platforming section to reach them, and if you fail the fight, you get to do the whole platforming section all over again. Every single time. And if you get whipped too much, the game says, "Aw, would you like to try easy mode?" And to that I say, no thank you, game. I am a man. Seriously, this is a game that still stands to show other action game devs a thing or two about potentially timeless game design. Soulsborne games may be the modern day standard for hard games, but this is what comes to mind for me when you're talking utterly crushing gameplay that forces you to be better. For a reworked port of a reworked version of a game that came out in 2004, I still think Ninja Gaiden's gameplay is top tier.
Yes.
You know, looking back at it, Ninja Gaiden was definitely a graphical wonder of its day. The beginning sections have some gorgeous Japanese architecture and nature in it, and the later setting of the Vigor Empire is a completely designed cityscape with so many things like chapels, caves, and tombs hidden beneath the surface that it's honestly a surprise to be refreshed on how varied the game can actually look. What isn't varied to the same degree is some of the character and enemy designs. So many characters, namely a lot of the males, look like they were pulled straight out of Fist of the North Star with absolute boulder shoulders and stern angular faces, while others just have the most gaudy, corny wardrobe choices. Speaking of wardrobe choice, I might get hate for this one, but by and large, sex appeal doesn't really do anything for me in a lot of different kinds of media, so seeing things like Rachel's outfit and the infamously absurd boob physics of Koei Tecmo games just leave me like,
okay.
It screams 2000s edge, all the way down to Ryu changing from his traditional ninja outfit to his now iconic and admittedly still kinda cool looking leather ninja gimp suit. The enemies vary though. They're somewhat decent of generic designs when dealing with human enemies, and a lot of the fiend enemies are straight up ugly. Not because they're fiends, but because so many of them feature these pukey color schemes. Then again, who besides me is actually paying attention to all that when you got all this crazy fast-paced action going on? What I also couldn't ignore was the Fiend Booba.
I've never seen one like that before.
And also some of that early 2000s English dub acting again.
Was that a fiend as well?
The main point here is that Ninja Gaiden Sigma is still, all these years later, as much a challenging experience as it always had been. That alone carries the game, warts and all, into any console generation with pride, I feel. I'm glad I got to re-experience this game for the first time in over a decade after my first run on the PS3 back in 08. And it's an experience that would also be continually built upon. For better, and also worse.
Yes.
But we'll get to the better when I cover Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2 in the next video. In the meantime, if you want to share some memories or trade notes on Ninja Gaiden Sigma or your opinions on this game versus other versions of the game, feel free to chat it up with me in the comments below. In the meantime, I'm going to get straight to working on the better with Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2, so if you want to see that along with my continued thoughts on the trilogy, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Seriously, we're going to be pushing for 1K this year. Make it happen, folks. But until then, thank you all for stopping by. Appreciate you for your time. I'll see you soon.